Alright, what's up? Welcome back. It's Sports Remedy Podcast. It's your boy, Dr. J.
Mr. Wash.
Ashley Ray.
And this is your weekly conversation on mental health, social issues, and other contributing factors plaguing society. We are the prescribed antiseptic to toxic masculinity. How's everybody doing?
Liz.
Yeah, we here.
Blessed and highly favored.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
How are you?
Oh my God. I'm good.
Yeah, when she talk loud too.
Oh, I know. I was trying to fix the volume and Tracy come screaming onto the mic. Oh my God. Yeah, no, I'm good. Just trying to make it out here in this cruel, cruel world. You feel me?
Cruel world.
What song are you singing?
Come on.
Oh,
I just like to sing little songs. Sing little tunes in my head. You never know. Might be a hit one day.
I believe you. I'll take your word for it. So what y'all do this weekend? How did everybody's weekends go? You know,
Great.
past week or whatever.
I went to OKC.
Oklahoma City, Texas.
Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
There you go.
Okay, yeah.
Texas.
They can have it. I'm good.
They can have it.
Yeah, my niece turned 5, and so.
Well, turn up, niece.
Yeah, she's
Y'all had a party?
party.
Y'all had a bottle?
Nah,
No bottles?
nah.
No sparklers?
Yeah, you was
Right.
at the party.
Sparklers. They came in there with a cake and stuff, you know.
What was up?
The bottle girls came in with a cake?
We did not go to the club.
The club will be at the
She
house.
only turned 5.
The club is where you
We
make
gotta
it.
wait till she turned 7 or something. Let her get out of the house.
Let her turn up.
The club is where you make it.
But
She was ready the day.
They
That's not
should
even her
have-
birthday.
they had like some bottle girls at the, what's that place called? The Jumping World?
Yeah.
That place
We went to something like
Sky
that.
Zone.
Oh my God, I love it.
I've never been to one.
Oh my God.
But everybody tells me I should go. Like,
Yeah, I was in there playing dodgeball, killing them kids. Who
Of course
wants some? Come get this.
Beating them kids up.
Whatever. That 2-year-old made me realize, yeah, I need to go ahead and knock a baby out because I'm not going to be able to chase a baby at 40.
Oh, I was going to say, I was waiting for the rest of what you were saying right there. You need to go ahead and knock out a baby.
I'm not gonna make it.
Fellas, you hear that? So,
You hear that?
Ashley is ready and willing whenever y'all ready to put a
Yes.
baby in her.
It's
Sir.
it's go time.
It's go time for Ashley's uterus.
Uterus.
Ashley's
Uterus, you have been put on notice.
Ashley's uterus is open for business. So everybody out there trying to
Hey, I'm straight. I'm good.
fertilize her eggs.
You throw on my uterus out there.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Fertilize her eggs.
It's
Ashley
going
ready.
down.
She just threw it out there for y'all.
Nah.
It's out there.
I can adopt. I didn't think about me really having one.
She hitting y'all with an alley-oop right now.
It's time.
Take advantage.
I can adopt.
You know, and we're gonna get into that in a second. But
Why? I'm gonna adopt a Chinese baby.
By yourself?
When I get a man.
Yeah, because you can't. They won't let you adopt.
Damn. Okay. Thanks. Hurting my dreams. Next.
yeah,
That's why that uterus is open.
the uterus.
So just have somebody come in and lead my life, or
I
what?
mean, do you want the baby or not?
What do you want? What do you really want?
I ain't never said I want to take care of a child by myself.
Either you want the baby or you don't want the baby.
Man, speaking of babies, what we talking about today?
Oh no! Before we even get to the topic, because
Okay.
actually that was a really good thing. That would have been a great segue into the
It
topic.
would have been.
But I wanted to shout out everybody that had graduated.
Oh,
That's what I
yes.
did this weekend. I went to a graduation. But,
Congratulations.
congratulations to everybody that graduated.
Y'all deserve it.
Yes. It's hard work getting through.
It is.
Well, mostly it was college graduation. So, college graduates, master's degrees, everybody that graduated. I just want to, kind of shout them out. Shout out Caven for graduating. Shout out.
What up, David?
There's some other people graduating. Now I feel like I'm leaving people's names out.
You-
Everybody graduated. Masters. I think people with masters, like my own girl, Miss Tisha, she had a master's.
What up, Tip?
And some other people I can't remember. But I see people getting second masters though.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Damn.
Do
I don't
your
know if I go back
thing.
for a second master's, but I mean, if it helps, if that's what you want to do, more power to you.
I'm
You'll
out
be
here trying to have kids
well learned.
with no money.
You good? People do it every day, B.
You said somebody trying to have a kid.
I said, well, I'm out here trying to have a kid with
Oh,
no
yeah,
money.
People getting degrees and shit. Ashley
Yeah.
just
I'm just out here trying to sell my uterus.
Yeah. Ashley said, just put a baby in and she'll take care of it.
Nah, Ashley didn't say that. Never said
All you
that.
gotta do is drop it off. And then drop it off in Ashley and then move around.
I don't even like how that sounds. Man, let that go. Drop it. No, we good.
Cute
We
little
good.
mom.
I'll be the worst baby mama ever.
Why, you gonna be blowing people up?
What?
Speaking of, we can go right into the check.
All right. Baby mama.
So our check yourself segment is gonna be about well, basically what we talking about, babies. Okay, because parents have one of the big things about therapy, especially what I do, is I deal with a lot of kids and children. So a lot of times when you have children in therapy, half the time probably it's because of like behavior issues, or they ADHD, they off the walls, parents can't control them, that kind of stuff. So what ends up happening is that we have to work with the parents a lot. So it kind of brought up that, and a lot of stuff that's been in the news lately kind of brought up this subject of babies and how we feel about taking care of babies or not taking care of babies. So going off of Ashley's story, since we're gonna just feed off of that for right now, how do y'all feel about people? We can start with deadbeat fathers.
Deadbeat daddies.
Like, how do you?
Deadbeat daddies. I'm looking.
Do you feel like everybody should have responsibility when the baby comes,
Hell,
even if they don't want it?
hell yeah. You basically laid up with me. You knew what could have happened. Since you can have a baby. It's a chance.
There is that
The only way
possibility.
just take care of your responsibilities, man. I understand you probably don't want no child with that female, but come on.
Well, that's a little different topic. Like I say, especially for us three.
Right.
We ain't
And
got
stuff
no
because
kids.
huh?
We ain't got no kids.
Yeah.
Well, no, not even about not having kids. It's the fact that we can't speak on that fully. We can speak on it because we're coming from another angle.
Right.
Because we all came from both parent households,
Okay.
which is very far in between now. A lot of people don't come from 2 parent households anymore.
So do you think that there's what's the biggest difference that you think there is coming from a 2-parent household as there would be from a 1-parent household?
What's the biggest difference, you mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, and like I said, we can't really just call it because we don't know as much. But just from your perspective, what do you feel like is the biggest thing that you see that's different?
Well, I think we can speak on it from a certain perspective of it.
Yeah.
Like I said, we have an
Like
opinion
growing up?
because like
Yeah.
I said, we like I said, this situation with us 3, we all came from both parent households. But a lot of people we grew up with, like people we friends with, whatever, coming up, they
you
did.
Seen it, yeah.
So you've seen it, whatever. And like I said, a lot of times when you talk about from a 2-parent household, your friends look to your parents, whatever. They're normally more likely your dad as the father figure.
Man,
And stuff like that.
that's crazy. Cause my cousin texted me yesterday. Almost shed a tear. Trina, you ain't got me. I'm a G. She sent me a text talking about my dad. She was like, "You don't know how much your dad did for me growing up."
Right.
And I was just like, what? Like, where she was like, I just want to let you know that if I thought about him, he always told us to be ourselves. And I guess he was a father figure for a lot of my cousins and friends, but I ain't look at it like that. Because they had their daddies there, but not really, I guess. I knew who their daddy was,
Yeah.
but maybe they weren't there all the
They
time.
weren't sticking around. I mean, because I had the same kind of thing where like my dad was, around for like a lot of like my cousins and stuff like that because their dad went around for the beginning part, but then they got like a stepdad, which worked out great because he was a good man that came in or whatever. But
Yeah.
for a while, if they needed to get a whooping, then their mama wasn't, they had gotten a little older, so
What
mama
you
whooping.
mean mama whoopings don't work?
My mom, well, I know from me personal experience.
Your mama whoopings don't
My
work.
mama whoopings were, they would hurt, but they weren't that bad. But if my daddy was coming, then I knew it was gonna be a problem. You know what I'm saying? So like my dad would do that for other kids. Like,
He would whoop other kids?
if they asked him.
Oh
Like
my
if my
God.
auntie asked him to, then like he would come in and whoop some of us or whatever if he needed to, or whatever. But like you said, it's just being a father figure, or even not even just whooping, but like being a male figure for
in their
people.
lives.
Like
Yeah.
they see, this is a black man, actually doing things with his life. He has a job. He's supporting his family. He paying bills.
Mhm.
That kind of stuff is like really big.
Young boys, I think they need to see it. Even they should have some type of male figure. It doesn't have to be their mama who dating somebody. They just need some male figure
Yeah,
that
like-
could say, "Hey, man, like you doing good at this, or this is how you This is how you tie, wear your clothes like this. I don't know. This is how you pee in the toilet.
Yeah,
instead of on the seat,
and it could be
on the floor.
Oh, that's some people just don't got aim like that.
No.
You can be taught all you want to, and sometimes your aim just be off.
You gonna have I'm
Yeah.
gonna break that.
Your aim just a little off, where it's like you do it in the morning time, you can't really just get it the way you need it to, and
that's disgusting. Put the toilet seat down. I gotta use.
okay. I mean, no, because see, that's a whole other issue. Because, like, why I gotta put the toilet seat down?
Put the you put it up, put it down. It's just courtesy.
Why don't
It
you
looks
let
bad
it up when
looking.
you get up?
It looks bad when it's up to me. It looks very much like the house ain't clean. Put the toilet seat down.
Toilet seat down, then it look like that's what the toilet's supposed to look like.
Right, like we on it.
It's still a toilet without the seat.
Put the
being
toilet seat down.
Anyway, but like no, what I was gonna say was okay. So yeah, like you said, they need a male figure. It's helpful for them to have a male figure, even if it's like the mother's brother.
Yeah.
Or her uncle, or somebody just around, the granddad being there.
Mm-hmm.
You have a male figure around, not even just to teach them things per se, but just to give them something to look at as a male figure.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Nobody wants to be your mama.
But that leads us into my next question, because we're gonna get into like some other things, more in-depth conversation. But how do y'all feel about like mothers that bring around a lot of different men to be in their children's lives? Like if they date a lot.
It's just confusing calling him uncle. Is this uncle too? I think it's confusing for kids.
Do people still do that? Like, do they still make people call him uncle?
I mean,
this Uncle J. Ron that came
this is Uncle Joe. Hey, Uncle Joe, are you gonna leave like Uncle Ray? Uncle Ray only stayed here 2 months.
I never heard him call uncle, it's just Mr. So you said.
Yeah, I think it's Mister now. Like,
Mister.
Yeah, it's more so Mister. Having somebody like you said, calling somebody uncle when your mama, having sex with them is kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta call him.
I've seen movies like that.
Like what?
What
they call him uncle?
Yeah.
Well, I've heard of it in real life situations, but I'm just saying that like I don't know. But how do y'all feel about it? Do you think it's beneficial for the children to have men in and out like that?
In and out? I don't think it's beneficial for them to have men in and out. But who am I?
I mean, but they got a date, right?
Yeah, date. How many men can you gonna have in and out like that? Like, I don't date like that. And I'm out here with no kids. But it's just, to each his own.
I mean, okay.
How many men are you talking about?
I'm talking about like if you were.
I ain't had a new nigga on my roster this year.
The year is short, my friend.
No, but I'm single. I should be dating.
Oh, my fault.
Oh,
I didn't know.
You throwing my uterus out there? How you know single?
Oh, okay.
Oh, God.
I got something new here?
Yeah, I was like, I didn't know that. But anyway, no, but okay, let's say like a normal person, not like how because you say you don't date. So
not like that.
I'm talking about like somebody that dates, like not regularly, but like
They're
maybe once a month. Let's say
serial dater.
Not even a serial dater.
Once a month.
Like they go on a new date. They weren't really feeling this dude.
So if I had a child, I wouldn't let you meet my child until maybe I know it's official, maybe a year, maybe a 6 months to a year. How comfortable I feel with you.
So
that'll be about a year. I'm gonna give
so
it a year.
You gonna be hanging out with a dude for an entire year, and he ain't ever gonna meet your child?
I hung with a dude for like maybe 2-3 years. I ain't never made his kids.
And that didn't like
bother me.
I know it didn't bother you.
I know that bother. No.
I know you not bothered by it. You don't care about meeting nobody's kids, but
I don't know. I'm a little different. Because I know once I meet the kids, like I met somebody's kids when we first started talking, and the child just made it so awkward.
So
like he basically he ran that whole relationship.
Well,
that wasn't even a relationship. That was basically after that I didn't want to talk to him no more.
Okay, so I'm gonna give this to y'all, bro. So let's make it a more definite thing. Let's say that like for one,
because he ain't saying nothing over here.
They date a man like once a year, and so they have a child as a 5-year-old. So when that child is 6, they meet this man. They date him for a year. They bring him around. and he meets the kid, like the kid's going in 7, and then the kid is like 6, 7 years old. It don't work out after a year or two, and so they stop. They don't talk to any men for like a year or so, and then like after a year they have to date. I mean they're single women, so they have to date somebody else. So then like another year passes, they don't really work, because you've been in relationships that last for a while and then don't become anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has.
Yeah.
So like once you get to that point, if you have a child, you're still gonna be going through the same thing. So how do you feel like women should avoid that? Should they just not introduce the kids until it's like, damn,
whatever you feel comfortable with. Whatever
I think
you feel
I don't think nobody's a set agenda, a set
Yeah.
time. But I think everybody, when you feel comfortable of introducing your children to whoever you're dating, or date as frequently as you want to, it's on you. Like I said, it's not for me to judge how you should go about your dating life. That's on you.
Right. And I think
that's like the politically correct shit to say.
No,
like for real.
You can be
it's
dating.
on you for how you want to date.
No,
but
that's
y'all show
exactly
people.
what you just said, though.
In a way, but not in a way. Because you're going to talk about Tamika who dates all these niggas and got all these kids.
No, this is my thing. That's what I'm saying. If you the person, whatever, and you're doing all dating and whatever case may be, right? That's your prerogative to do what the hell you want to do. Now, I can say what the fuck I want to say.
Well,
but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I say. You're going to do what you want to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So why worry about what somebody going to say? Because somebody always going to say something.
Basically.
Yeah, so.
Y'all say shit all the time out here.
Okay. So let's
right
take it away from what the public says about it. And let's say, how do you think the kid is affected by like the fact that, okay, well, I mean, of course, like I said, you're a single woman, so you date, or even single, I don't want to say it's just single with mothers, there's single fathers out there that do the same thing.
Yeah.
They take care of their kid and then date women, and they bring different women around their child. So like, if you have to date people, because you are going to date people, like, what do you think the effects are on the children when that happens?
Well, I'll say this, that's always been like a fear for me, whatever, is that dating somebody with a child, and I get attached to the child, and I don't want to be with the mother anymore. Because you develop that relationship with the child, they develop a relationship with you, let's say y'all do a bunch of stuff together, then your relationship will fall apart. And stuff. Now that child is like, well, damn, I just lost this figure that was like my friend, or could be like a father to me, whatever it can be, right? Mm-hmm. And now this person just instantly just out my life. So now
kids keep asking where he is.
Yeah, so now you leave like you can be like as the guy in the situation, you can be like affected by it, but you at the end of the day you can go about your business. For that kid, that's a new void that's just been put into their life.
That sucks. You know what? I feel sorry for people that's got to date with kids. I can't.
I mean, it sucks.
It does suck.
I mean, I feel like it sucks, but I mean, it's something that can be worked on. Like it's something that can be worked on.
It can be worked on because it is true. You're not just dating that person; you're dating them and their child. Because
what if they both got kids?
That's a whole nother. I mean, it's not a whole nother issue. It's about the same thing because now you're creating attachment both ways. So
and you might parent different from me. So
see, now that's a different issue.
Tamika may let little Ron get away with a lot of shit. You be like, oh, my child do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's parenting issue. But then, like you're saying, if I have kids over here, you got kids over there, then we really doing some blended family type shit. And it's like, it does change the dynamic of dating because you're really not dating more. Like, you're dating with a purpose even more than you would if you were single. Because you are interacting with so many people out there.
You're dating with a purpose because you have children and you're affecting their lives.
Yeah.
But it's so many women that's really out here just dating Joe.
Just random people.
Just random Tinder niggas that you know ain't about shit.
Yeah. And it's like,
you swiping to the right, thinking it's gonna be something.
And there's a lot of dudes that's dating out here with kids, whatever. They'll take their kid over to any woman's house
and use their kid as a ploy to get split.
Yeah.
That didn't work that time.
But I'm telling you, it works for a lot of people. He's so cute. Like they bring their son with them, and
I'd probably be like, why you brought your son over here?
And then their son never see them over here.
Some reckless. Never mind. I ain't about to.
I will say this, and like Wash was saying earlier, you can't really tell people what to do.
Right, that's up to you.
But at the same time, I think that people should take into consideration their children, and I'm sure that they do. I'm not saying that they don't. For some people, it seems like they don't. But I think that men and women, because like I said, men do it too, where they'll actually take their sons or daughters around and try to use that to get women, and then like these kids have to meet these women and then they don't get to see them no more. Like you have to think about what detriment you're putting on the child, because you know if that child ends up in counseling and stuff because they just confused by what's been going on in the house, or at least at the very least, if you're going to have a lot of stuff going on with your kids around, have that conversation with them. Make it, I mean, of course, if they're of age, to have that kind of conversation, like, you know, an adolescent or a teenager.
Mm-hmm. Like, watch this thing where you said your fear was you liking a child. My fear is I don't like your child.
Mm-hmm. And so you would like stop dating somebody because you don't like their kid.
What? Yeah, for real.
I mean, that's legit though.
Like you got Ray running around here and slapping folks.
Oh, see, but that, and like I said, that's a parenting issue. So that's a legit reason not to talk to somebody. Because
or you don't see your child at all, and then your baby mama like stalking me on Facebook, inboxing me, talking about he always with you. It's a lot of shit on this end that I've seen. I'm like, are you serious? You just
I've seen some of that on the other end too. You know, like baby daddies be like that.
Or we get a family and he take care of this family way different how he treat his firstborn. It's just I seen some of that, like from family.
It goes to this. I had a conversation with somebody and we talked about it. We talked about kind of similar stuff like this, and basically all it boils down to is just fucked up. It boils down to be mindful who the fuck you sleep with.
Right. Thank you.
Right.
And stuff because it has a consequence.
It does, and this is a morbid term, but that's a good segue to my next topic. So they had this whole situation with Malia.
Well, before you go into that, because I want to expound on something we just talked about. Yeah, because the whole point about like laying, like be mindful who you lay with. Because the conversation was brought up, it was like how you don't know, you'll lay with somebody, right? But you don't know their full extent of the issues they have in their life they had before their life. And like we talking about the term of like, hey, you sleep with somebody, right? You have a kid with them. You don't know until after the fact later on, whatever, that hey, this person has difficulty learning disabilities or certain other issues, mental like anger issues, this and that, right? And you have a kid with this person, and the kid takes on the traits of that person, whatever, have disabilities.
So you should date them a little bit, get to know that person.
You should know everything about like some people before you.
But like even more
as much as you
can, even more than just dating. When I mean, I know a lot of times I don't want to say accidents happen, but kids happen.
Yeah, I understand.
But if you know that you're gonna potentially if you have, it's the possibility of having kids. It's not just dating to where I'm getting to know you and I know your habits and I know some of your traits and stuff like that. You have to know genetic medical history, because if your family has
they don't
sickle
know.
cell.
Yeah.
If sickle cell runs in your family.
Daddy? I
mean, but if they know his mama's side, sickle cell can be you could be a carrier for sickle cell.
You be asking people about it?
You will know if you know the rest of their family though.
Before you sleep with them?
No, I didn't say I did.
That's the whole point though. I guess you can sleep with somebody, but you sleep with somebody raw and shit with the possibility of having a child and shit. Yeah. Before you start taking that step, you kind of, like I said, this is shit that we don't do.
No,
let's be 100% honest.
I'm not about to ask fucking questions.
Yeah, I'm saying this is stuff that we don't do, but when you see the consequences of shit like that happen, you be like, man, this shit needs to be more asked.
Don't touch my uterus.
Don't touch my uterus.
I'm good.
But
got a title for that.
There it is. Don't touch my uterus.
That's what we're gonna go into pretty much.
But anyway, but no, but that's legit though. They used to do this to us in health class, where they show you all the pictures of the STDs and stuff. I'm not having no sex because
that's it. Hell, I was
not as bad as it seems, but at the same time, there is a lot of consequences to having sex with people. And you have to take those things into consideration, and one of those consequences is a child.
Child, soul tie, crazy baby mama.
All of that.
Bipolar.
But going into what we were talking about earlier, just how you don't really know what you selected as far as a partner maybe having a child with, even more so than that, you have to be aware of the people that you bring around your child or that you leave your child with. Because we had a situation with Malia Davis here in Houston, where we still don't know what exactly happened. She's still missing, I believe. They haven't found her, right?
No, not to my knowledge.
They haven't found her body or anything.
Yeah, they haven't found anything. So they found her mama's boyfriend's her mom's fiance's car, and they had blood in it, but they can't. Like,
So his car had blood in it?
Yeah, it had traces of blood.
Yeah.
That's why they brought him in, because they were like, okay, well, this kind of tied him to it. But anyway, so like what happened in that situation was, the little girl was staying with him and his son or whatever, and him and the mom got into it, and like for a couple of days they couldn't find the girl, and they said they saw him going to his house with the little girl. The next time he comes out of the house, it's him, his son, and a trash bag. And so they feel like he might have put her inside the trash bag and all that kind of stuff.
So he made sure he didn't kill his son.
He was mad at the mother.
Yeah.
I heard what it said on the news was he was sending like pictures to males.
Yeah, no, that and that's what him and the mother got into it about. He
Yeah.
was like, sexting other men, and she kind of tried to call him out for that. And
But then you leave your child with him and go off somewhere.
she went to a funeral out of state.
Why she couldn't take her to, or like let?
I mean, because I feel like I understand why she didn't want to take her child to the funeral, but I don't.
I wouldn't have
why
left
she
him
got-
with him. That's not the daddy.
Right.
Where's the dad?
I don't have those answers. Those
Yeah.
those are some answers that I can't give you right now. But I think it leads us to the next topic of that though. So it's about who you leave your child with, because that's not the only instance where that's a problem. The other problem is like daycares. You've seen daycares where they toss babies around and they're beating up the kids and doing all
Having fight club.
the daycare fight club like that.
That's funny, but
It's not funny. It's not
That
funny.
shit was funny, but it was like, damn, that's fucked up.
It's
not funny.
funny, but that's why I don't watch kids, because I probably would do. No, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, no, don't say that. But yeah, no. But so how do you feel like? What is some criteria? Like I said, this is a hard conversation for us to have because we don't really have kids. But if you think about your nieces, nephews, cousins, and that kind of stuff, what are some criteria that you think you would look for when you're dealing with people that have to take care of your child? Like, cause you have boyfriends that she had her boyfriend take care of her child, or there's daycares that
He looked like never mind. He
So,
just
I mean,
look-
that
he
could
just
be
looked like he was gonna do something wrong, or like he just don't look like type was gonna take care of my child. He don't look like he take care of me. So no.
So that could be like one of the criteria. That's what I'm saying. So like, is it that if you look at somebody and you like, nah, I ain't even no kids with them. Like that could be one thing. Like it could be like eyesight test. Like once you see them and you like this don't look like somebody lead children around. That could be a reason. I mean, but like, I think one of the things for me is I would want to leave my child with somebody that was trusted, like preferably licensed, because they have licensed daycares. Like my aunt runs a licensed daycare here in Houston.
Okay.
So like I know that you can get state licensing and that kind of stuff. So not that everybody license is good.
Right.
I'm
That's
just
what
saying
I'm about
that
to say. Like what?
you need to have like some references,
something like that.
referrals, references, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, some reviews. Let me get some reviews.
Somebody that
I need some
there.
damn cameras in this daycare, so maybe I could be at work looking at it. I don't know.
I think that'd be a good idea too. I mean, I don't know how that the logistics behind that. If everybody would have access to the cameras,
I would love to have that. I'm trying to think.
But I mean, at least in your house, you would probably have like the cameras and stuff like that.
Definitely.
I mean, but yeah. So I wanted to bring that up just because.
I would like my child not to go to like daycare when they're first. I understand mothers got to do that when they're first born, but I guess my parents were very blessed they didn't have to.
Yeah, mine were too, because we went to when I was really little, we had, like I said, I said it on the episode on here before. We went to Mama Hall's house.
Mama Hall.
Yeah, we went to her house, and we used to stay over there when I was really little. And as I got older, we used to have other types of babysitters and that kind of stuff. And then of course, when I got a lot older, my sister was older than me, so she would just take care of the rest of us.
It was just I stayed at my grandma, and then she had a neighbor next door named Miss Gilbert. So we could play with Miss Gilbert over there in her yard, but it was just my grandma. That was it.
But see, the problem I have with what that I had when I was in Corpus was that like I didn't have no like direct family, because my mom was from East Texas and my dad was from Florida. Mm-hmm. So like I didn't really have any direct family. So like all the people that she knew were like church members and that kind of stuff. So those are the people that would take care of us. But I mean, it helps to have a community of people that
Maybe
you
you
trust.
should sit down and be around that person a little bit more and learn their ways. Cause I've had friends let me take care of their kids, and I don't have children. They be like, "Actually, you need to learn." So okay.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
I mean,
You
I
can
like
pick
to,
little Jimmy up though.
I would say I'll take kids if they of a certain age.
Yeah.
Like I don't deal with kids under like 3.
Wow.
I need them to be able to
Damn,
talk.
you ain't babysitting nothing then.
I need them to be able to talk and tell me what they need. Hey,
Nah.
don't be crying. Tell me if you want some juice.
My
Want some
niece
juice?
let me learn. I learned the hard way with her. Lord Jesus.
Nah, if
I
a
had her
child,
all naked one time. I just didn't know what to do no more. She spilled everything on her clothes. I was just lost.
that's what I'm saying. I can deal with a child that's of a certain age. They just have to be of a
She
certain
ran the
age,
show when she was 1.
and they need to be potty trained. I ain't dealing with no.
I would like my child to come out like that.
to come out potty trained.
Yes.
That would be ideal. I've seen some babies, like well, not babies, but I've seen kids that potty train real fast.
Yeah.
But then I've seen kids that
That
don't
don't.
be potty trained at like
Ooh,
5.
or be breastfed till they're 6.
That's weird on the mother's
Weird.
part though. Like it's really weird.
Weird.
I mean, I know some people that have done that too. Like they kept they breastfed for a long time.
I think. Never mind.
But I mean, a lot of times they say that that's what draws that attraction to people that are like real strong, like mama's boys and stuff, because they like they
Hell,
never got.
but I want a mama's boy.
Well, I mean, you'll get it. You can breastfeed until they 6.
Nah, I'm not breastfeeding. I just think that's a little too much for me.
Like,
Can't be on my titties.
I
all
feel
day.
like you shouldn't be breastfeeding, and I'm a man, so I can't really make
Right.
a call.
What you about to say?
But I was gonna say, I think it'd be kind of painful for y'all if you
Yeah,
start
that's what I was
breastfeeding
thinking, but you got.
After
I
they
don't
done
want
got,
to say
like,
what I want to say.
full rows of teeth and shit. Like that shit, like that'd be
I
painful.
like that shit.
Biting
Like,
your shit.
oh.
Killing gnawing.
I had a friend get mad at me because I asked her was she breastfeeding, and she was like, she basically said, "Bitch, what you asking me that for?" Like, damn, that's all I was just asking her a question
You want to know if she was breastfeeding?
because she was drinking. So I was just wanted to ask.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't
think
feel
it's
like
supposed to be
nothing's wrong with it. Like, I don't got no kid. I don't know, man. Just I want to make your baby healthy too. You know what I'm saying?
If they don't have concern for their child,
I
don't
just
know
asked
if you
a
can really
simple
have
question,
concern.
but I think you got offended. But it's cool.
I mean, but that kind of brings us to our other main topic, which is this abortion law that came out. So, like, because we talking about somebody dealing with a baby inside of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you said like you trying to help them out because don't drink, 'cause
I
I've
wasn't
seen-
saying don't drink. I just asked, "Are you breastfeeding?" And she was like, "Bitch, she just got mad." I didn't say don't drink. I just asked a question.
But I mean,
But you
you
can
asked
still drink,
because
and you could pump and dump. You could drink with breastfeeding. You gotta
Yeah,
pump
but
and
you gotta be a lot more careful with that.
Yeah, but I know I had friends that did it too. They were like, "Girl, I can have a drink right now, and then I pump and I dump."
Oh, see, I don't know the intricacies of breastfeeding either, so I can't.
Get on it.
Nah,
Get on it.
Get on it. But I mean, but again, and so when you're talking about dealing with people, and I mean, for one thing, and this is why this abortion conversation is so delicate, because there's dealing with people where like you said, you're trying to look out for the baby's health because she breastfeeding, and you don't know if she's like pumping and dumping or
That's
just.
the question just to ask, like, "Hey, how you do that?" I was just, to be honest, I wanted to know how she did hers. But hey, just say, "No, I'm not breastfeeding." Don't get mad.
I mean, I understand what
monitoring
you're saying.
shit. I ain't monitoring you.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, but I mean, it's a legit question, even if you were monitoring, because you would want to know, that the
So I
child
call
is.
CPS on your ass.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
That's what CPS is for.
Mm.
But it's not all CPS is for, but that's one of the things CPS handles. But one of the things I was gonna say is like, so as far as the whole abortion conversation goes, I think people are thinking that by passing the abortion law, which I'll tell you, the abortion law is basically that, and it was in Alabama, I think there's one in like Oregon or some shit like that, somewhere else. And there's like 5 states that have passed this abortion law.
Georgia, Alabama, Ohio.
Ohio, that's the old one.
I don't
It's
know
like
the other
others.
two.
I want to say it was 5 states that passed it, but basically it's that you can't have an abortion after 6 weeks. And
Sometimes you don't even know you're pregnant.
And that's the issue with it.
Like,
that's
you
the
don't
problem.
know. It takes the whole, if I miss my period,
That's 4
my
weeks.
cycle, whatever, God. If I miss it, maybe I miss it that month. But
You know, and the thing is, and you know, I know something about menstrual cycles just from biology, teaching that and all that kind of stuff.
Tell me what you know.
But my thing is, one of the things about, you know, cycles is that they can be thrown off for other things besides pregnancy.
Stress.
Right.
My diet. I gained weight. I'm old.
Yeah. So,
I'm a black woman living in this white man world.
Okay. All right, Ashley.
I'm sorry. Y'all pissing me off now.
No, but like you're saying, that 6 week law is kind of
Right.
fraud because, like I say, you know, what I'm saying, doing biology and stuff like that. Like, you know, you found out like you maybe 3 or 4 weeks.
I had friends that ain't found out. My mama ain't know she was pregnant with me till 4 months.
That's what I'm talking about. So
She kept having a cycle.
Yeah.
The hell is that?
yeah, because I'm saying like the 6 week law is bullshit because, like I say, you go into 4 weeks, like say a month time when your period supposed to come, right?
Yeah.
Then you late on it, whatever case may
And
be.
you said, I'm a little late.
Then you find out, like, let's say, I'm late on my period, then I go ahead and take a test. Oh, I'm pregnant.
I'm 7 weeks in.
Yeah, I'm saying, but at that 4 week mark, whatever when you're supposed to add 2 weeks from the last cycle was, so now you technically 6 weeks when you found out. So are you already at your?
Yeah, you already at the limit. So
Yeah.
like they be like, oh, my fault, cuz you missed your
You
deadline.
missed your deadline.
You missed your deadline, my nigga. But like, and
I
that's
understand. I really do understand. Maybe like 5 months, maybe 4. I understand. I can
that's
understand
what
that.
it's been though. It's
But
already.
you can't do it after 5.
Like you can't like legally you can't have it in the 3rd trimester. Period. Like that's
What
the
you
rule now.
when?
They don't do late term abortions unless you have a medical condition. You can get.
Somebody that knows about it.
I mean, legally you can't get an abortion in the last trimester unless there's a medical problem.
No.
But you can do it up until your whole 2nd trimester. But that's what they wanted to stop. Is they don't want people to be able to do that. They want to be able to. Oh well, by that time that's already a baby that you're getting taken out.
That's my motherfucking business.
And that's the argument that people are making now. One of the arguments that comes up because we all, you know, y'all are Catholic. I went to church. You know, I was a Christian child.
Catholics don't believe in abortions, but I'm not Catholic anymore.
Okay, so one of the conversations that came up was the Bible. Okay, the Bible, and like a lot of people, church going people, decided that like part of the reason is that they feel like it's murder. Like you're taking a life and killing it, and that's a murder. So like if you're committing murder, then that's against the Bible and against the law. You're going to hell, all that kind of stuff. How do y'all feel about abortion being murder? Because that's what the real argument is. That people are saying abortion is murder.
Want me to go first?
Yeah, why not?
Oh.
It's a man's world. Y'all motherfuckers make the law.
You're right. You're right.
Actually, a white woman wrote that law, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think it's all bullshit. I think everything about this is bullshit. I think a woman has a right to choose what's done with her body because nobody's gonna tell a man what to do with his body. I think it's fucked up that medically Viagra and Cialis is covered in your insurance. And birth control, they're fighting every day to take birth control away from you.
Still can't get the birth control out long. My insurance won't cover it.
Yeah, so I think that's bullshit. Whatever. I think a lot of laws are geared where people wants to get on their pulpits, whatever, and preach about what God has said about this and that when it comes to abortion. But when it comes to gun laws or
Death penalty.
the death penalty, you know what I'm saying?
We real quick to kill somebody.
Yeah.
That might be innocent.
I think they made a law. I forgot where they made it at. Whatever. I think they're trying to do it federally across the country, whatever. Where if you abuse an animal, whatever the case may be, that's a felony charge and stuff like that. But they're killing black men every day
You kill
and act like nothing's wrong with it. Like, you know, oh, that's his life. He shouldn't have been doing this and stuff.
Yep.
So it's just kind of like for people to stand on their, like when you talk about like the president, or whatever. Like people like, oh, well, you know what I'm saying, he's this and that. Oh yeah, he's cheating on many women, on his wives, and this and that and stuff. But because they do something that you like being a pro-life or whatever case may be, you know what I'm saying, everybody ride with you. People pick and choose what they want to stand on.
Yeah.
I don't think that's right.
I think so too. What do you think, Ashley? How do you feel about them calling abortion murder, and you know this whole abortion issue with that law? Do you think that people have a moral ground to stand on? You gotta answer, Ashley. You can't just look at me.
No, I don't feel like it's murder. You don't know what the reason why this woman is getting an abortion. It could be rape. medical issues. She probably can't afford it.
Yep.
This is nothing
Kids
that
cost.
she may not want to have children, and it happens. Everything happened for a reason, but it's her choice. You took away my choice. And then United States of America, it made it seem like we free. We not free. Definitely not me. I'm a black woman out here. I'm not free. This is my body. You telling me that I cannot go take care of my body?
That's what they're saying.
How do you know, like, that I may have some type of medical issue that if I have a child, I'm gonna die?
Well, there is an exception for some medical condition. Like if it's something that comes to a point where like you will die if you try to deliver a baby, they are allowing it for that. But the one thing I don't get is they're not allowing it for things like rape.
Right. You're making me have this baby.
No, that's the ill part about it. It's one thing to make somebody has been raped and pregnant, whatever. I'm gonna make you have your rapist baby.
Mentally messing me up.
Yeah, you mentally messing me up.
Worse.
But I'm going to make you have your rapist baby, and then when your baby get here, I'm gonna give your rapist rights to have custody of that same child.
So you have to see him.
Yeah. So
you have to face him all the time because
This has to be made up by a man. This shit just don't sound like you can just
But-
tell
but- but-
inconsiderate,
but-
don't have no type of compassion.
But like you had one dude, one Republican legislator, he buzzed out. He was like, "Yeah, most rapes are consensual rapes
I heard that.
and stuff." And I'm like, "What?
How are they consensual?
Yeah, what is a consensual rape? Rape and consensual doesn't go in the same
that
sentence."
was probably around the same one of the same quotes I saw where they were talking about how like if you initiated sex, then you can't say no, or like once sex is begun, you can't say no.
They got a law like that in some states.
That's
don't
what I'm
they?
saying. They're like if sex is already commenced, then
You can't stop it and say no.
Yeah, it can't be rape.
Man wrote that. Has
And that's kind of the same
Yeah.
idea. Like they feel like it's consensual rape.
Like you let me come in the room, whatever you eat. We got the kids and then got the start and whatever. And in
You
the
can't
middle of
say
it,
no. This is my body.
Yeah, you can't.
You don't know how you do not know how uncomfortable I am with certain type of men.
But
not
that's-
having this conversation. I just don't.
But that's the whole point. That's why some of the stuff is getting like not always pushed through, but getting up for discussion, whatever. Because it's easier. Yeah, think about like this. You know what I'm saying? This is just on some just realities type stuff on the racial lines, whatever. You got a bunch of white men that's always been in power, with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Being able to tell anybody, woman, color, whatever it can be, to tell somebody else what to do, even though they don't live their life.
Right.
Like somebody telling you as a poor black person in America to lift yourself up by your bootstraps when you have no boots. You know what I'm saying? It's like that. I'm on top of the hill telling you what you do because you know what? I can do this, so why can't you do this?
It's funny. This is kind of off subject, but I saw something today where they were talking about this financial advisor trying to tell people how to like not be poor, and he was charging like $300 a session. And so it's like, what you expect people to come listen to you that are poor?
It's the people that
and they gotta
pay.
pay $300 a session. I don't know. It was in like Norway somewhere.
No person from my game.
Yeah, I'm sure people gang, but it's stupid. But it's the same kind of an idea. Like you don't even know what that life is like, and even the woman that wrote it, it was a lady that wrote it, but she's like a menopausal white woman. She ain't have no more kids even if she wants
She
to.
probably never had kids, whatever. Who knows?
But then, just for group think and everything else, what has came out too, it amazes you. Just like in society, just not with this with the abortion thing, whatever, just the certain laws and stuff in this culture that we live in, that people will go against their own self-interest just to push a certain agenda.
Yeah.
Like you have a lot of like these white male legislators, whatever, talking about like pro-life this, pro-life that, and you hear a story like, oh, they was sleeping around their wife and got their side chick pregnant
and
and got that abortion. Went to have an abortion.
Yeah.
Wait, y'all know most white women have abortions.
Well, that's the percentage. Like when they broke down the percentages, whatever.
They can afford it.
The majority of them, the demographic when it breaks down by color lines, whatever, more white women have abortions.
Yeah,
every
they're
year than
just
any other.
quiet.
Right. And one of the arguments they make is that, you know, and I've seen people make this argument even for being pro-choice, is that, you know, the high percentage of black women that actually get abortions. But the one thing that people don't take into consideration as to why there's such a high percentage of people getting abortions is because of things like healthcare. You know, black women aren't as, like, in lower socioeconomic levels, black women don't have access to health care, and birth control is high as fuck because insurance doesn't cover a lot of it. So like if you don't have birth control, you know, you're not able to go see your doctor regularly, and then you pop up pregnant because you didn't have access to any of those things. I mean, it's a lot easier to come together with like $300-400 for an abortion than it would be to pay
$100 for hospital stay, services and stuff like that,
or to even preventative measures like, you know, birth control and stuff. You got to pay that stuff regularly. Like,
birth control, was it birth control, prenatal vitamins, and all that.
It's a lot of shit that you have to pay for as a woman.
And it's just stupid. Like, you got places like Planned Parenthood that, like, who the Republicans are trying to defund and get rid of about their abortion clinics and their blah blah blah.
Yeah. They're not all abortion clinics.
But this is my thing. That's what I'm saying.
I learned so much from Planned Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood provides so many other services for women other than abortion.
When I didn't have insurance, they helped me have pap smears and get tested for. They even gave me grants because I didn't have insurance. You're like, you qualify for this.
Yeah,
and
it's good. It's a good thing, and I just had this argument, you know, the other day.
But it's scary as fuck. It's scary to go in there because they lock the door. It's scary.
I mean, I feel you. I gotta take your word for it. But
I don't want to come in no more.
I was having this argument with somebody the other day. Well, not an argument. It was more of a discussion. But we were talking about abortion, and they were talking about how, you know, taxpayers are paying for abortions, but in places like, you know, like I think Texas, taxpayers don't pay for abortions at all. Like, abortions are out-of-pocket expenses.
Yeah.
And so they're talking about, well, you know, indirectly, we're paying for the abortions because we pay for Planned Parenthood.
Yeah.
Because Medicaid pays for Planned Parenthood, but Planned Parenthood uses Medicaid funds to keep their doors open and to do things like Ashley was saying, you know, do pap smears, do regular women's health stuff.
Regular women's health.
Yeah. And so, like, Planned Parenthood has nothing to do with the abortions, but they also do
I was trying
abortions.
to figure out why my cycle was so I needed to go somewhere. I was like, well, this look cheap. Well, it wasn't even cheaper. She actually gave me a discount. I was like, forget, I'm just gonna have to go here. To sit down and talk to, and that's my problem. I don't want to sit down and talk to no man about no issue I'm going through.
Yeah, no women's issue.
Nah, but I did have a male doctor, but he wouldn't give me any type of birth control.
Why?
He told me I was too old, and at the time I was like 29.
You know what? And a lot of people, and this is the issue I've had, because we had this same kind of conversation when we were talking about the Aisha Curry thing. The issue I have with a lot of people is, like, with men, especially, like, I guess black men, because that's who I know, is that they don't talk to women. Like, I think niggas feel like they talk to women, so they know women. They're like, oh yeah, you know, I be fucking these hoes, you know what I'm saying? I know women. No, but you don't know women. And so, like, people ain't.
I know these.
I know
I
these.
know
these hoes, man. I know these hoes. But if you really, like, sit down and listen to what women are actually saying, because I've heard multiple people say exactly what Ashley said.
He told me I was too old, and then another doctor said, no, you should be on it because of your site, like, because I'm anemic, and she told me.
But what I'm saying is, like, because women are saying that, like, even when they try to, like, go get the tube side, like, this lady said she. This lady had like 3 kids already, but she was like 25. But she already had 3 kids, and so she's like, okay, I'm done. I need to get my tubes tied. And the doctor told her no.
No.
She's like, they told her, you're too young to get your tubes tied. She's like, I already have 3 kids. I don't want no more. Like, well, just wait it out. You might want kids later, so we're not.
Well, I'm already open, sir. Just tie the motherfucking tubes. I can't afford no more.
And that's why they're trying to push men to, like, get vasectomies, because doctors never question men if they have to do it.
No, y'all can get Viagra. Oh, y'all stay up all day. It's all right for y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all can have kids. Just, go and get vasectomy. Go and do that. Damn.
I'm not getting no vasectomy, though.
Yes, you are.
One thing, I'm scared. And 2,
nothing happens to men. Half of y'all don't get tested. Half of y'all don't go to the doctor.
I go to
more than probably have.
Only because, you know, I learned from when I started working, because, you know, I started working, like, in the workforce for real in, like, 2008. So, like, it took me a couple of years being in the workforce to realize, man, I have health care. Like, let me go to the doctor.
Use this shit.
Like, I can at least get an annual checkup,
right.
Get all my testing, blood work, and everything done, and I'll be using it.
You know, I know I was getting old when I said, I mess with a nigga that ain't got insurance. So I was like, damn.
And that's
get it together.
Bring bad with your life.
I know. I was like, yeah, I'm too old for this shit.
But I think that's going to be, like, the biggest problem for me with these conversations is that people aren't listening to each other.
No.
Men, they're definitely not listening to women because they feel like they don't know what they're talking about.
Why are you an OBGYN? I just don't understand. You don't like us. You won't give me birth control.
My thing is this though too. Like I said, we talk about like how niggas be like, man, I fuck with a lot of old niggas. I know women, I know what they go through. And No, you don't. Like I say, I've talked to so many women, and like I said, we all in our early mid-30s, whatever the case may be. But like, there's a fucking epidemic going on right now. That you talk to like women that's 30 plus with her age, and a lot of them are like having hysterectomies, having PCOS, endometriosis, things of that nature. Like certain, like, you know what I'm saying, cycles and hormones all out of whack with shit. It's like this shit is being frequent. Like, you hearing this shit more and more. Like, niggas, people not talking about shit like this.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Niggas act like they're not understanding. They don't hear.
They don't want to understand. What man, like, really, do men really want to hear about it or not?
There are some, but you know what has been discouraging for me between, like I said, between this Aisha Curry thing and this abortion thing, is I didn't realize how bad men really were. Like, how many men really don't listen to anything.
No, we don't.
Like, don't listen to anything like women say at all.
Like I said, I find it always time for like a lot of conversations like this and other stuff that I'm willing to have for people, and they be like you really understanding or listening, whatever. And it's like, this is just a regular conversation to me with her, right? But some people don't give a shit.
I remember talking to a guy, I was cramping so bad, he was just like, damn, you really ain't gonna come to my family reunion? I cannot hardly walk, sir.
Yeah.
So what's the use of me coming? And he never understand that, man. In fact, he ain't talk to me no more. I don't want to talk to him ever again.
Yeah.
You don't understand, like, I'm really hurting. And I don't really like to tell people about my feminine issues, like, especially when you don't understand. Like, for me, I don't think y'all understand how cramps are. I don't think y'all understand how even being pregnant or breast or any fucking thing. No, you're never going to understand.
No.
So I don't want to talk to y'all.
And that's what I'm saying. I think that that's your prerogative not to want to talk to people, but I think that when you come across people that are willing to listen, it's good to have those conversations, because some men need to have that conversation in order to really get an understanding. And so, but if you come across somebody, and actually this is cutting into my Woosah segment. So for the Woosah segment,
I'm supposed to understand why you can't get up.
But listen,
No more.
listen. So for the Woosah segment, I was gonna actually talk about how, like, people aren't able to, like, speak to each other, especially on issues like abortion or other women's issues and those types of things, because people, like, they feel like they already know what you're going through, or they already know what your answer gonna be, or whatever. You know, they feel like since they know, they don't really listen. Like, they at a certain point, they kind of talking to respond. And I noticed that in, like, a lot of the debates I had, from, like I said, even the Aisha Curry thing to the abortion thing, like, people listen and they're like, yeah, I know what you're saying, but, and they're like ready to go to something else. They're not listening to anything.
No, because everybody has a rebuttal to everything you say. Everybody has an answer to, you know what I'm saying, a different point, when it's just like, you just need to listen right now.
Sometimes you don't have to have the answer. They're not asking you for the answer. They want you just to listen.
Right.
And I think you talked about it on one show. It's like, just sit back and listen to what people have to say.
Okay.
You don't always have to talk and say something back.
Exactly.
I actually got called out for that. They were like, actually, you ain't saying nothing. I was listening.
Well,
I had shit else to say.
To be an active listener, and I'm going to get into that.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I've gotten to that before, but, like, active listening, like, you kind of want to respond some, but you don't have to respond with an answer. Like, you don't have to give them a solution all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, they getting their feelings out. Okay, like, I feel this way. Like, I hate when my doctor tells me this, blah, 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 blah. They don't really need for you to say, I mean, don't you think the doctor is right? Like, that shit's not going to be beneficial to the conversation. So sometimes it's better to be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's what he said. Oh, okay, that's what's up. Yeah. Like, how do you feel about it? You know, and you can ask questions, you can talk, but make sure that everything in the conversation stays on the person that's initiating their feelings.
You're supposed to answer to respond, not answer to interject.
Right. Not to rebut what they're saying. Don't try to prove people wrong all the time.
How many people do that?
I mean, it's common. Like, it's common. It's a common practice for everybody.
You're right. They're not listening for real.
So the major part of my Woosah segment for today is really going to be for the person that's actually holding that conversation, for the woman that's actually talking to a man that's not listening, or for men engaging in conversations with women or whatever. If you have something a feeling that you have that you need to get out, I know I'm bringing this up with the abortion thing, but just in general, if you ever have a conversation with somebody and you have feelings that you need to get out, you have to be comfortable doing what I say is just calling speak your piece. You've heard the term speak your piece before, right?
No.
So, like, if you speak
What? Nobody ever told me that.
Oh, well, anyway.
Never.
Because they never had to.
Yeah, no, because you was
I
gonna
was about
say
to
it.
say, yeah.
Well, usually when you tell somebody to speak your piece, like they're telling them to give their side or something or whatever. But one of the things I add to that is that when you speak your piece, like I spell Peace, like peace, like calmness. Like so after you get done saying what you have to say, be content with the fact that you said it. Don't
try to rebuttal or like make your case again.
Yeah, don't try to make your case again. Don't try to, because they a lot of times because people are just wired that way. After you say what you gotta say, they gonna say something back to you.
Of course.
And so like in order for you to keep your calm and keep your peace, say what you have to say.
Oh, I do that.
Speak your piece, and then whatever they have to say in response to that, you can just be like, oh, okay, well.
Yeah, I do that. I understand. We can agree to disagree. Bye, girl.
And the thing is, and why I tell people this, because they be like, well, if it's like something real important for them, and they want to tell their significant other or their parents or something like that, they want to tell them something, and but I really need for them to get this information. Like I need them to understand it. A lot of times, you're not going to get somebody to understand in that conversation. So what you can do is like you speak, you say what you have to say, and you explain yourself thoroughly. Make sure it's clear. Make sure what you're saying is clear, and you have clarity and everything. So like once you get done saying it, let them have their rebuttal. Let them be mad. Whatever happens with them, happens with them. But you said what you had to say. Now, do they understand it? Maybe not right then, but it may come up to a later time. They sitting back and they kind of rethink the conversation, and they're like, you know what? They really made some sense in this. And you didn't have to do anything but say what you had to say and leave it alone.
Yeah.
And sometimes that works, and sometimes they'll even come back and tell you, man, you know what? I did this, and that, and so and so said this, and you like, no, I said that to you like a month ago. But you don't have to say that to them. Just be at peace with the fact that you know. Be at peace with the fact that you know that you actually have given that information to. Be at peace with knowing that you've given out what you needed to give out, and that's enough.
And don't say, I told you so.
Yeah, I told you so is what's going to start another argument.
So stop saying that. It's you.
Watch
you do that all the time.
You always got some shit to say, though.
You be like, man, I just told you that.
But see, I do that too. That's my problem. Is that
you
I
do?
I had to stop
I don't care. I didn't want to hear that shit from you.
But you need to hear from me.
And a lot of times it is some shit somebody need to hear, and so like you want to tell them, hey, look, nigga, I said that.
So you going off on an ignorant ass tangent.
Yeah.
You need to hear something.
I haven't did that in a while. I haven't did it in a while. I'm trying to control it.
But yeah, so to end that, just speak your piece, keep your peace, and everything will be all right.
And don't touch my uterus.
And don't touch Ashley's uterus.
Yeah.
Even
No.
though
You know it was open for business.
It's not open no more.
It was open at the beginning of the episode, and now Ashley's uterus is closed.
The church doors are closed.
I was tell further notice.
All right, so that's it. Anybody got anything before we get out of here?
No, just brunches on Sunday.
Oh yeah, we're going to brunches on Sunday. It is at Hinky and Pillow.
And we gonna celebrate Watch birthday. Hey, Watch birthday. Hey.
Again, I told you I promise I'll walk the fuck out.
Yeah.
We gonna have a band, mariachi band, cupcakes.
I'll walk the fuck out.
We gonna have
I want to walk in.
I don't want to be around the mariachi band.
I would walk out the door, you'll see me, and I'll just keep walking down the street.
what you want?
I don't want to know.
Marching band, we got one of them. I'm gonna ask Tia. Oh, y'all from Prairie View. Okay, we're gonna see what we can do about that.
She said she was about to say Tia.
I was, damn.
Yeah.
But then, they down the street.
Anyway, brunches on Sunday, May
Come by.
26th.
Come by, watch a drink. Or me.
Yeah, buy all of us a drink.
Corral.
It's at
Uncle Corral.
Hinky and Pillow on Congress. I think it's like 5432 Congress or something.
Something like that. It was on Congress.
It's on Congress. Check Instagram. Check our Instagram. Check Brunches' Instagram.
Yeah, check out at Brunches Texas.
Yeah, at Brunches
On
Texas
Instagram.
Or just check the West Remedy Podcast Instagram, and we have all the information, and it'll be in the description. So,
Yeah, my director gonna come. She comes.
oh, they turn up. All right. So, any more announcements before we get out?
That's about it. From Memorial Weekend. That's what we
Yeah.
doing.
Turn up.
Yeah, everybody else enjoy yourselves.
Yeah, enjoy your 3-day weekend for those of y'all that's off.
Yay.
All right.
Yeah, so that's it. So we hope you laughed a little, learned a lot. We hope we have helped you find the remedies whatever's troubling you. This is What's Remedy Podcast.
All right, y'all.
We out.